Hello Capricorn, welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul, thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, we have a Queen of Pentacles. This is someone who is kind of appreciating the past, learning from the past, the good and the bad. Able to distill our experience down into kernels of wisdom to take with us into the future. I think that this is a turning point for you. I think you're somebody who is, you're very introspective, you're very retrospective. Sometimes it's important as we're climbing our mountains to stop and look down and appreciate how far we've come. Or to even look back and say, okay, I had a lot of obstacles and that's what I learned from those obstacles. I had a lot of challenges and that's what I've gained. So now as we look toward the rest of our mountain, we're sort of equipped to handle whatever's going to come our way. But this is the turning point, I think, from looking at the past to then turning and looking at the future and thinking, okay, what am I taking with me on the next leg of the journey and what am I leaving behind? Right? This is the moment where we kind of, we get rid of excess baggage. This is on Everest, where this is where you got to dump all your used oxygen canisters, lighten the load. You don't need certain things anymore. Okay, well, I don't need to carry it with me, right? Because the next leg of the journey for you is going to be one where you got to be light on your feet, okay? The higher we get up the mountain, the more narrow our path becomes. The less room there is for error. The less room there is for fluctuations, for indecisions. It's just kind of, it gets more treacherous toward the top. Okay. And I think you're in sort of a position now where you're appreciating where you've been, and we're just about ready to tackle the last sort of phase of something. Yeah. Let's put this card into some context. I also feel as if you're somebody who really, other people rely on you, right? I feel like you're somebody who is able to provide for other people, and I almost feel like a lot of people ask you for money, I feel like a lot of people kind of see you in this position and they think, okay, well, maybe now's my chance to ask you for something, right? I feel like you are very generous. But you also, you kind of, when to say no, Let's keep going. Let's put the rest of our cards on the table here. Yeah, see, there's that Emperor. There's that Princess of Cups, Five of Swords. There is Mercury. Yep, and Mercury is going direct now, okay? And so I think Mercury is kind of back in the picture and kind of like, okay, ready to help. I'm here to work hard now. And we see we're gaining. This is it. We're living that successful life. There was a time where you doubted yourself. There was a time where we had confusion. We couldn't find the order in the chaos, thanks Mercury retrograde. But now with Mercury direct, I think we've got a handle on what we need to do. We're thinking clearly. We have a clear plan. We've looked at the past and we've looked at the chaos that we've experienced. We looked at all the problems we've been through, and in a way, that's kind of a benefit of the Mercury energy, right? Even though it was confusing, it was chaotic, there was a lot of trouble, a lot of disaster, there was a lot of we even saw in the past, in the readings over the last couple of weeks, there was just so much air energy, so many swords cards, so much confusion and chaos, so much doubt, so much criticism, so many crossed wires, so much interference, right? But now we're looking at that and we're thinking, okay, I made it through. Then I've learned a lot from that. That's like that was a whole like year's worth of experience crammed into a week, you know, and was almost insufferable. But now we're coming through it and we're thinking, okay, I've learned a lot from that. And now I feel more confident about myself. I kind of feel now like the future is going to be so easy because I've already been through the worst of it. So now, even though I'll face challenges going forward, I know how to handle them because I've already been through most things, you know. So I think you're in a really good spot right now. This Nine of Pentacles, when we start looking to the future, things are going to get really, really good. All right. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, we'll put the rest of our cards on the table. Got the Hermit. Got the Ten of Cups. You've got a Prince of Wands and the Art or Temperance card. Very nice. I like the Hermit especially. We haven't been getting the Hermit card very often. Now here the Hermit is coming back, right? The Hermit has, and it goes through that on this channel if you've noticed. There are times where we get a lot of the same cards very often. Like there was a time where we were getting, like the Wheel of Fortune every single day, right? Every reading, Wheel of Fortune was somewhere. Maybe the Magician was somewhere, right? And then they sort of cycle out, and it's like we don't see the Wheel of Fortune or the Magician for a while, or the Hermit. And the Hermit's been gone for a while. Now the Hermit's coming back. Let's all say hello. Welcome back to the Hermit energy. I think it's that time, right, where we sort of go within. And it's Northern Hemisphere, it's winter time, right? We are, a lot of us anyway, are sort of going inside, we're staying home more, we're keeping warm, we're focusing on our stuff. And for me, it's always been fall and winter, for me personally, where I do my best sort of spiritual work, the internal stuff. Spring and summer, it's more external, we're out in the world, we're living life, we're kind of, we're engaging with other people, we're doing new activities. And then fall and winter come along and it's more Hermit energy. It's more, I kind of want to focus on myself. I want to do what I need to do. I want to meditate more, do my breathing exercises. I want to read more. I want to just sort of, sit by the fire somewhere or just kind of sit outside in the cold with a hot cup of tea, And so I think this is really an important time for you to do that sort of thing. All right, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor, Infinite, and Unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Dwight K. Schrute right on top. Beats, Bears, and Battlestar Galactica. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. Okay. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Help me out here. All right. Let's look around the room. We've got quite a bit of major arcana, I would say. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. We've got the Emperor and the Magician. And I kind of see the Magician here as things now are working. Right? It's almost like you have trouble with your phone, things aren't, just nothing works right, Then they send an update and it's like, well, okay, everything's back to normal now. Everything's working. The information is there when I need it. I'm able to communicate now the way I should be able to, right? The wires aren't getting crossed. The phone's not freezing. I don't have to reboot it every 5 seconds. It just works now and I'm happy, right? And the Magician really is one of the best cards because this is your ability to manifest. You're the magician. You're pulling the rabbit out of the hat, right? Well, what happens when you're trying to pull the rabbit out of the hat and it's not a rabbit? It's a bologna sandwich, right? It's a toothbrush. Like, where's the rabbit? What if there's nothing in there? What if you're reaching in and nothing's coming out, right? It's just like, why? This worked a million times before, but it's not working now? That's kind of a retrograde energy. And for me, now with things are stationing direct, now is the really time. It's a really good time to get back to that manifestation. Things are going to work. Things are going to go a little bit more smoothly. Okay? And I kind of feel that there's, it's an interesting thing because now with Mercury being direct it kind of feels like, okay, well, now's the time to go outside and do the things that you need to do and connect with people, and your communication is going to be very well understood, right? That there's going to be a rapport, there's going to be a nice flow and exchange between people, and it's not going to be all the static that we've had, But yet I feel that you're still sort of hermit mode. Yeah. So maybe it was during the retrograde period that you sort of got into a little bit of a hermit energy, and you said, well, you know what, I'm not going to do any of that because none of that is working. I'm just going to kind of do me. I'm going to focus on what I can do, focus on my well-being and self-care and meditation and study and all this kind of thing. I'm going to stay home, right? And now the difficult thing is kind of getting back into the swing of things. Yeah. And that's why the Queen of Pentacles has to stop looking at the past. You've looked at it. You've recapitulated. You've assimilated. You've absorbed all of that, and you understand it now. Now we've got to sort of start looking at the future again. We got to get back out there. And that's why I see both of these cards are looking at the past now. Even the Emperor looking this way, looking at this Five of Swords. Five of Swords, of course, is that period of confusion. That period of things aren't going well. Communication's breaking down. The phone's not working. Where things that we've done a million times, suddenly the rabbit's not coming out of the hat. We don't know what's going on. And there was a lot of this for a lot of people. And I think that right now you're still in that position of kind of looking back at this and thinking, what was going on? What did I learn from that? How can I prevent it again? I think anytime we come out of a period of time like this, sometimes it takes us a minute to sort of put our thoughts in order. I had a liver transplant 15 years ago. When I woke up in the hospital, I had no idea where I was, no idea what had happened. I thought I was in a car accident or something. And it was a lot of confusion, a lot of just the communication was just weird. I was not quite thinking clearly, let's say. And so for a while afterwards, after the transplant, out of the hospital and getting back to my regular life, very often I would have to sit there and think about that entire experience to try to make sense of it. Okay? And try to understand what happened from day one. Every hour by hour, I went and got thousands of pages of my medical records so I could kind of read everything that happened because I didn't have a memory of it. And so we get stuck in that sort of retrospective because I want to understand what happened. I want to know. I want to be able to kind of to feel that because I don't remember it. So I wanted to kind of I wanted to think about it, and it's kind of like we explore the past, But then there's a time where we just have to say, okay, enough is enough. Time to get back to work. Time to start thinking of the future. Try to think, what am I going to do now? Now where is life going to go? And so I understand this sort of turning point for you. And you've got this Princess of Cups underneath everything. This is that feeling that you have. To me, this kind of feels like we're not sure what was real and what's not. That sometimes we can't always trust our memory. And so we're looking at that Five of Swords and we're trying to figure out exactly what was going on. Maybe the last few weeks for you. And but now I think we're starting to feel like, okay, now I kind of feel like we need to move on. Now I need to feel as if, or now I feel that it's time to get back to the manifesting. It's time to get back to the communication. It's time to get back out there, as it were. Yeah. So this, like I said, this was, when we're looking at the Five of Swords, we're trying to understand the past so we sort of know how we're supposed to feel about it. Okay. And so when we have a Princess of Cups like this, we're not really sure whether, well, like I said, back to my transplant, and not to bring everything back to me, but trying to think about the past, I was trying to understand what I felt. how it felt to be in that situation. Was I scared? Like, what was the pain level? Like, just these, it wasn't even that specific or that detailed. It was just like there was a desire to be able to close my eyes and put myself back in that situation to understand it. Understand what it meant, what was its purpose, how did I feel, what was going on, what were the facts, yes, but why did it happen, and all that sort of thing. And now I think you've got that same kind of feeling, hence the hermit, right? Because we sort of disengage we sort of say, wait, hold on, life. I need to figure this thing out, because this is kind of like, I feel some sort of way about this, and I got to figure out what this was, what it meant, how I feel about it, what's my relationship with it. I've got to satisfy something in me so I could say, okay, all right, good, done that, let's move on. Let's turn this queen around and look the other way. Let's start looking forward again, right? So we've got the emperor too. And the emperor is your executive function. Your emperor is the ability for you to direct your being. It's sort of like it's the CEO of our souls, right? It's the executive function within us that sort of, this is maybe the highest, sort of most noble conception of the ego. Yeah. Able to make the right decisions, able to take inspiration from spirit and make the, sort of issue the orders, right? Release the memos, write the policy, and make the choices. It's the CEO of our lives, right? And it seems important that we take charge of our energy right now and start moving toward the future, because getting stuck in this retrospective, these two cards together, we're not going to understand this any further. Okay? We're trying to find some sort of meaning in all that chaos, and I don't think we will. So I don't know that we will ever be truly satisfied with what happened in the last couple of weeks for you, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just kind of natural retrograde kind of stuff, or if it was, if there was a lot of crossed wires, confusion, interference, a lot of static, a lot of chaos in terms of your relationships with other people, in terms of what you were trying to communicate just generally out into the world, things not really working out your way. Again, we're trying to pull the rabbit out of the hat, and it's a bunch of random crap coming out of the hat, or it's nothing, right? And now we got this magician card right at the top here. So I think it's almost like Mercury's coming back and saying, okay. Sorry for all the confusion. I'm ready to help now. I'm ready to get back to work. What did you want? It was a rabbit you wanted? Okay, here's your rabbit. And so I feel that now the communication is going to be clear, but are we going to use this now? So now we can talk. Do you want to talk about what happened last week? Or should we just say, water under the bridge, let's talk about what we're doing now and tomorrow? Okay. And I think this is kind of where our emperor needs to take charge and just say, we could rehash what happened yesterday. And if this is you, maybe this is you and your boss or your partner, spouse, best friend, whatever. Maybe this is just you and yourself, you and spirit. And it's kind of saying, no, I'm not done talking about yesterday. Right? And I kind of feel that's what we're doing. We're still trying, now that we have a direct Mercury, now we're saying, okay, now I've got clarity. Now I can have an effective exchange of information. Now I can have clear communication. Right, so now I want to figure out what happened yesterday. Well, maybe we take advantage of the clear communication and we start looking into the future. We start looking at today, because you got that 9 of Pentacles here. Right? And maybe the Princess of Cups has to ask, okay, what's more important? Understanding yesterday or manifesting tomorrow? Okay? Right now is a great time for negotiation. With a Mercury direct, it's kind of like you got to take advantage of that quickly, right? And so we can use it. It's like we're being given this opportunity, and we can either put put it toward the past and try to understand what that was, or we could try to put it toward the future and really get this. I think this is like, it's a great time for this kind of, whether this is business or whether this is like some kind of a project you're working on or any kind of success that you're after. This is you living a successful life. This is a card of gain. It's a 9 of Pentacles. You're living a successful life here. If we're stuck trying to figure this out, and this seems, again, it seems like this is as good as it's going to get. Okay? Trying to understand yesterday. We can apply this energy to today and tomorrow, and we can start making some progress here. Okay? If you're climbing a mountain, and, a lot of, there's a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulty, a lot of challenges, right? So we're sitting here. Should we just talk about everything that happened yesterday and really sort of have a discussion about every step of the way and everything that went wrong and try to understand all of that? Yes. But there comes a point where we have to say, hey, clock's ticking. We got clear weather right now. Shouldn't we start climbing? Yeah. I feel like that's what the message is here right now. You have this ability to manifest your reality right now. This is the architect, right? This is the magician. This is the one that can create, right? So I feel like you're turning things around. Your executive function, your emperor is saying, okay, time to start climbing up the mountain again. And you're going to find a lot of progress. You're going to find things are happening very, very quickly for you. Okay? And there's still going to be this confusion in the past. Sometimes we will never understand what this was. And that's frustrating, right? To have something like that we'll just never get an answer to. I'll never be fully satisfied with what that was. Well, the further up the mountain we get, the further down the path, down the road we get, the less significant it seems. Yeah, it would have been nice to get some answers. I really wish we could turn this into a 6 of swords. But we can't. So, going to have to just move forward, and it will diminish over time. All right? Now, Path of the Serpent. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Your general energy is this hermit energy. Because this, again, it's an introspection. We're trying to shine a light on what's going on inside of us to figure things out. And to me, it feels like it's kind of about what's been happening in your life the last few weeks. And this has sort of put a hold on your progress. It's like you're on the mountain, but you're just in your tent. You're sort of hibernating on your own right now. And everybody else is like, okay, we got to start climbing the mountain. We got to hurry up and go. We're missing our window here. We got good weather today. We got to climb. Someone get Capricorn out of their tent, so we can start moving forward. We can't leave without him. So I feel that this is, it's a time now, I think, to emerge from this hermit mode. Okay. You've been trying to figure something out inside of you. There comes a point where we have to just say, enough is enough. That's as good as it'll get right now. I need to keep moving forward. I have to re-engage with the world. Introspection is wonderful. Having time where we can go inside and connect with ourselves and find clarity and find understanding and recapitulate and sort of assimilate and really come to terms with what has happened in our lives, that's great. Having time alone where you can do that introspective work, the meditative work, whatever it is wonderful, right? Now might be the time to think about getting out of the tent and getting back to the climb. And we see the 10 of Cups in the environment. That's the mountain you're climbing. That's the mountain of happiness. There's no happiness back here. There may be some sort of vague satisfaction of figuring it out and understanding what it is, and maybe we could satisfy ourselves and say, okay, now I get it. I got the 6 of Swords. I understand that, but that's not a 10 of Cups, right? I think the 10 of Cups is a much more important goal for you. And maybe this was some kind of criticism. Maybe that was an argument. Maybe that was some words that were said But again, we're in that retrograde energy back here, and we can't really trust anything that was going on here. Okay, but that situation is over. Let's continue climbing this mountain of our happiness. This is satiety. This is fulfillment. This is the joy of getting to the top of that mountain. Okay. And this is out here in your environment. This is in terms of your relationships. Let's start working toward building a better relationship. Maybe this has to do with one particular person. Maybe it's an Aries person in your life. And maybe there was a lot of troubled times. Last few weeks have just been weird, rough, chaotic, confusing, right? We could have that conversation. We can try to figure out how we feel about this and what this meant, or we can just keep moving forward. And whether that means we're breaking up and just moving on, whether this means we're going to just continue working on the relationship and we're going to let the past be the past. Okay? But that's the difficult thing for you. We've got this Prince of Wands in the position of the obstacle. And the Prince of Wands is taking action right now. Okay? Taking action right now. It's a persistence. This is, it's not the beginning, it's not the end. This is the middle. And it's saying we're not at the base of the mountain. We're not at the top of the mountain. We're right in the middle of the mountain. We can't just sit here. We got to go. We don't want to become an ornament on the mountain, right? We've got to continue climbing. And whether that means we're climbing by ourselves or whether that means we're just letting the past be the past and we're going to stay with this person and keep going, that's really up to you. And it doesn't matter. What matters is we get our feet moving. We get the chariot going again. We start taking steps forward. Okay? Because the hermit, again, is kind of just chilling in the tent. Doesn't want to come out of the tent. Okay, well, they're dealing with something. That's okay. But eventually, we're going to have to knock on the tent and say, it's time to go. You know, we stay here too long, it's going to start getting dangerous. You know, the weather's going to get bad again. We're not going to have the sunlight or whatever. Like, we're losing our window of opportunity. We've got to get going. The Temperance card, as I said, over time, the need to satisfy your, curiosity maybe, to satisfy your need to understand what this meant or to have some sort of clarity about this, whatever this was for you. That's going to diminish over time. It's going to be replaced by the excitement, the joy, the novelty, the sense of meaning, the depth and richness of purpose of your future. So the further we get away from that Five of Swords, the better we'll feel, you know. As time is going to diminish the intensity of that need to sort of figure this out and to be immersed in that thing. Okay? And again, the Five of Swords, that's the only challenging card you have, right? This is what it is. But we see the Emperor looking at it. We see the Queen of Pentacles looking at this. The Hermit is even looking at this. And Mercury is kind of looking at this and saying, oops, sorry. But you know, the princess and the prince, they're kind of here and now. We got to deal with what we've got right in front of us. We can't be too worried about what happened yesterday. We're in the middle of a mountain. We're in the middle of this intense sort of path in life. We've got to keep going. You're going to be very successful at this, but we've got to start walking again. Okay? So we see the cards that are sort of, stuck trying to figure this past thing out. And then you've got this other energy in you that's saying, okay, let's go. Let's get a move on, Let's look at our mystery card, yeah? I want to see some kind of motion, movement. I want to see more fire energy or more pentacles energy. Perhaps your power card, the devil card, the goat, right? If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is either you letting go of that Five of Swords and saying, okay, you know what? I'm accepting it. It is what it is. It was what it was. I'm accepting, I'm surrendering to it being forever a little vague, right? I'm resigning myself to the acknowledgement that I will not fully understand something, okay? Or you're sacrificing the other way. Okay, that's it. I don't care about my future anymore. I want to sit here and stay stuck in this energy. So either way, we got to give something up. You're right here in the middle of something. You're holding on to two ropes. And it's just like, I got to let go of one. Otherwise, I'm going to be torn apart. So I either let go of this one and I get carried forward, or I let go of this one and I stay tied up in this past. Okay, so I feel like there's a difficulty letting go of this. And the Hanged Man is saying we have to just sort of accept that it is what it is, and we'll never fully understand it. More than chances are, okay? We don't have to speak in absolutes, but just for the sake of the choice here, we may never understand what that was fully. We have to be okay with that so that we can move on and get this 9, get this 10, right? We can get this satisfaction, this love, this fulfillment, and this success, this progress. You got to let go of one of these things. Either let go of your future and stay with this past, or let go of that past and just say, all right, it is what it is. Maybe some, and I don't even want to say this, maybe sometime down the road, things will become more clear. But right now, I feel that this Mercury energy is saying, look, you've got a window of opportunity here. You've got to take it. Yeah. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn Thursday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.